Hey guys, welcome to my tutorial on how to make Neapolitan-Inspired Pizza. So if you follow these a few steps here, you will actually make a really good meal for you and your company. So first off, we need to prepare this dough, as it will take at least a day or half an hour for it to rise. And in the meantime, you can prepare the other ingredients. So first off, we need all-purpose flour. It will help you bake lots of things at home. We need white sugar. We need a few teaspoons of that. Some olive oil. Today I have a little blend of canola and olive, but as long as it has a lot of olive oil, then we're gonna add 2 1/4 teaspoon of instant yeast and 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And lastly, we'll need 3/4 of a cup of lukewarm water. So to start off, we're gonna get our mixing bowl and a mixing spoon. So at first we need 2 1/3 cups of all-purpose flour. No need to sift. Then we're gonna add 2 1/4 teaspoon of instant yeast. Also include our 1 1/2 teaspoons of sugar, and we're gonna add 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. The best part about this dough is that you can gauge by eye or by hand how much sugar and salt you would want, because it's just down to personal preference. Then we're gonna add our olive oil, 2 tablespoons, and then we're gonna add our hot water. So we're gonna take our mixing spoon and we're gonna incorporate all the ingredients. At first it'll be easy, but once there's a main clump of dough, we're gonna start mixing with our hands, because it will be really hard for the spoon to get into the crevices and underneath to mix all that flour in the bottom and on the sides. So you wanna mix it up for a minute or two until it's one big clump, and you would know it's done when it's a bit sticky, but it's very firm, and it's also very soft and stretchy. And then you want to prepare 2 separate bowls with olive oil, because I know this dough is good for 2 personal pizzas. Just drizzle some in. So to separate these two, we want to use a really sharp knife to evenly cut the dough in half. And then after that, you'd roll both of those halves into a ball, make it nice and smooth, throw it into one bowl, and coat the bottom, and then flip it over, and then coat the rest of the dough with oil. This will help the dough not stick to the bowl when it rises, as we let it set for at least half an hour, or at most a day or two, in a warm place or in your fridge. You'll know the dough is ready when it has at least doubled in size. So when you think your dough is good to go, now is a good time to prepare the cheese, your toppings, and the tomato sauce you'll put on. But before we do that, we need to also preheat our oven to 420 degrees Fahrenheit. Once we have our oven preheating, we can gather our ingredients for the cheese. It's preferable to use mozzarella cheese, and also to have it low moisture, because this is what makes New York style pizza very stringy and stretchy. For our toppings, I'm going to go with some white mushrooms, some spinach, and some pepperoni. And for the tomato sauce, some store-bought tomato sauce and tomato paste in there to get that roasted warm flavors to our pizza sauce. So we're going to get a handful of each. Again, this is a personal preference, so once we flour both sides of the dough, we're going to flatten the dough with our fingertips as if they were flat edges of a spatula. And then you want to press down from the center all the way out to the edges to create that crust, pushing out the air bubbles slowly but surely all the way out to the edges. This will help flatten the dough in the center to help make it as Neapolitan as possible. Once that is done, we're going to hand stretch the dough using an old Neapolitan method. So to do that, we need to think of the dough as a clock, with a 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 6 o'clock handle. So with my left hand, I'll go to the 9 o'clock position, go underneath the dough. Using my flat fingers, I'll pull it out and slowly stretch it. And then I will throw it onto my right hand, which is over at the 3 o'clock, or in between 6 and 3. And then I will catch the dough, palm facing up. And then I will throw it back down with the same hand over at the 9 o'clock position. This will rotate the dough as you go, and you'll find that the dough will enlarge and get wider as you do it. With more practice, you can do this really fast, and you can make it really wide and as thin as you'd like. And remember to pull out your pizza tin to measure the size of the pizza that you can and you want to make. After that, we're going to get our tomato sauce and start layering it down, and you want to use the back end of the spoon to coat around the tomato sauce. Then we're going to add our cheese, and then we're going to add our toppings. So once our pizza is at our desired topping level, cheese level, and diameter, we're ready to throw it into the oven. We're gonna let this bad boy sit in there for at least 20 minutes at 420 degrees Fahrenheit within the middle rack. And once it's done, you can pull it out of the oven and put it onto a safe cooling area, and voila, your Neapolitan-inspired pizza is ready to eat. And you'll know the pizza is really well done when the crust is very sturdy and thick and your cheese is nice and evenly coating around the pizza. And what I like to do is I like to get a cutting board and then use my pizza cutter to cut the pizza into eighths so as to savor each bite. Thanks for watching, and I might get back to you for more videos on how to create dishes at home.